May the words of my mouth and the meditation of our hearts be always acceptable in your sight, O Lord, our strength and our Redeemer. Amen. Good morning. Welcome to St. Paul, those of you who have come here on a relatively cool and breezy morning, and welcome to those of you who are joining us online. We are mindful of your presence too. My name is Gayle Marsh, and I'm your guest preacher and celebrant, and this is my fourth Sunday and my actual final Sunday with you while Ramona continues to rest and to recover. So, one of the challenges of reading and living into the scriptures and the way that they are in particular bundled is finding connections. So these connections stand out. Jacob wrestles with an angel, with God, and comes up with a new identity and a bum hip. St. Paul wrestles with the mystery of God's ongoing promises to the people Israel. And Jesus wrestles with his grief and, I suspect, his fatigue. You see, word of Cousin John's execution has reached him. He goes to a desolate place, only to have that grief interrupted by yet more demands. Compassion prevails. Abundance meets the needs at hand. And something happens here which over the centuries has become known in sacramental theology as the Eucharistic action. Does that phrase sound familiar? Probably not. But these are the four actions that Jesus takes. And it is the four actions that every Sunday we do the Eucharist are inherent to the rite. The four actions. Take what is at hand. Bless it, break it open, and give it away. We do that every single week. In a bit, try and notice when that happens. We take, bless, break, give. And it's then what we do in the world with the grace that God has given us. But what really struck me the most in these passages was the theme of struggle. And so I'm going to go with the motif of wrestling. So I would like you to join with me in something. It's a story that happened about 12 years ago in Iowa. Ogden, Iowa. A local wrestling match. And at that time there was a fairly new magazine called Our Iowa. And they reported the story about a high school wrestling match between Ogden and Humboldt. On that night not to be forgotten, the home coach greeted Ogden with the news that one of Humboldt's wrestlers had Down's syndrome. Brent has no skill, but he loves to compete. He's part of our team. And he knows that he will lose. But he just wants to roll around on the mat just a little bit. Do you think anyone on your team would be willing to wrestle with him? At first, silence. And then a lone voice from Ogden's team replies, "I'll do it." And wrestler Lane Bruland steps forward. The gesture alone was commendable. But what Brent did in the next 6 minutes was exemplary. He grappled and grasped Brent for the full 6 minutes. Not only that, but he let the youngster score enough points to win the match. Lane gave Brent the thrill of competing, and more so, he gave the gift of dignity. And when Brent's hand was raised in victory, there was not a single dry eye in the gym. Both boys received a standing ovation. Several weeks later, Brent's parents wrote Bruland a letter. It's a portion of which reads, "We would like to thank you for your kindness and generosity. The invaluable joy that this gave Brent will never be forgotten by him or by us." The Genesis story is about another night not to be forgotten. Struggle, engagement, wrestling through the night, prevailing, making it through, and limping forward. It's important for us to realize that our ancestor Jacob came into the world grasping in ways which caused no end of dislocations. From his brother, his dad, his uncle, his wives, even eventually his hip. You see, from the very beginning, we, like Jacob, grasp. Jacob grasped his brother's heel as he entered the world. He eventually grasped his brother's future birthright. He grasped his father's blessing. He grasped his future wives. He even grasped his father-in-law Laban's herds before fleeing. Jacob, whose name means the planter or heel grabber or basic heel, was renamed Israel. The name Israel means the striver, the one who struggles with God, and it is his male children who become the 12 tribes of Israel, the Hebrew people. Now, I strongly believe, although others will disagree with me, but our Christian faith continues as an extension of these Jewish roots. God is personal. God gives a name. I am. God is supportive at times when we perceive an opponent intent on bringing us to wholehearted participation in that which shall come forth with tears of joy. In our Christian faith, God willingly engages humanity, willingly takes on human flesh, willingly gets down and gets dirty, willingly goes to the mat, so to speak, at the level that we are capable of. And we call these actions, this flesh-taking, incarnation in the flesh. For God so loved the world, he sent Jesus into the world, into the ring, to wrestle with us, to be pinned to a cross by us. And after that pinning, the long night becomes daybreak, resurrection. As spiritual descendants from Jacob, we too wrestle. At least I am convinced that I can win, that we can win, that we can pull ourselves up by our sandal straps and watch how we squirm to get free, shifting, from side to side. And eventually our muscles tire, our energy is spent and ready to give up when all appears lost, when broken open and in need of help to raise us up. When the match is over, we find ourselves arms uplifted in joy and utter amazement. Surely God is in this place, and we did not know it. Life's skirmishes often leave us with mat burns, maybe even a limp. We retain memories of struggle, and we honor those who have and who are still suffering at dusk and through the night, limping into daybreak. For my friends, God engages, not in a frightening way. God does not wallop us for our doubt, our anger, our despair, our questions. God stays, embracing us as we fidget for true freedom. A night not to be forgotten. Wrestling matches, new identities, new names, cheers and tears, moving out past old skin, moving past old schemes and our propensity to grasp. Instead, gathering into a multitude, sharing a new purpose of healing, and in the name of the God of Israel, taking heed. Taking, gathering, blessing, and giving. Sometimes we'll find that it's actual scraps of food. Other times it's about feeding human dignity, like the dignity that Lane gave Brent. Taking the opponent, seriously, engaging, going the full distance. So in closing, I'd like to give a slight adaptation to Paul's letter to the Romans. For to the Israelites, to all wrestlers belong the adoption, the glory, the covenants, the giving of law, the worship, and the promises. To them belong the patriarchs and matriarchs, and from them, according to the flesh, comes Messiah, who is over all. Blessed be God forever. Blessed be God forever. For blessed be the nights that are not to be forgotten. Amen.